If you have a low paying job and would like to make more money, or better yet, if you need to make more money, then I believe content creation is the solution. It is the answer that you probably may not have considered, okay? The solution that's been hiding in plain sight, right? See these things right here that we spend so much time on, right? Consuming content. Instead of consuming content, consider creating content, right? And this can be written content, this could be video content, right? I know a lot of people shy away from the video aspect because they don't want to be on camera. Well, guess what? There are ways to go about doing this without even having to be on camera, all right? So if you are even remotely interested, or even, if you flirted with the idea of doing some kind of online business before, all in an effort to supplement your current source of income or possibly even replace it, then I would highly encourage you to check out the first link in the description below this video, okay? It will give you access to some training that will show you how to go about creating this content and how to go about monetizing the content that you create, all right? And it's something with an extremely low barrier to entry, right? You don't need any kind of fancy degree or any of that type stuff, right? Or any crazy high technical skills that you need to spend years in school learning how to do before you can do this, right? Of course, there are some skills, core high high income skills that you're gonna have to learn, right? But they are pretty simple, okay? Now, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like this stuff is easy, because if it was so easy, everybody would be doing it, right? However, I do want you to know that it is not rocket science, right? It's not complicated. As a matter of fact, the stuff that you need to do to succeed with this is actually really simple. It's just a matter of being dedicated, right? Suspending disbelief, right? And being committed to the process, right? And doing the work, right? On a daily basis, day in, day out. And you could find yourself in a much better spot financially a lot sooner than you think, okay? Now, if you do have a low paying job, right? This is just one of those things, what most people would do typically, right, is probably go try to get another job, right? Like a second job. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, okay? Of course, if you need money right now, and you have, you have access to, some other job that you can get, absolutely go for it, okay? But I would strongly encourage you to consider starting to create content on the side, right? It's something that, even starting out, right, it can take you, just if you can just give up, right, 1 to 2 hours per day, right? Starting out, right, 1 to 2 hours per day. Ideally, of course, the more free time you have to dedicate to this, the more you should put into it, okay? I'm like, for instance, okay, like I'm in red right now. This is I just came back I literally just came back less than 30 minutes ago, right? Those of you who have been following me on my channel, you'll know that I, on the weekends, right, Friday nights, right, I referee a couple of soccer, small-sided soccer games. I do that on Friday nights and all day Sunday, right? And that is like my little side hustle that I do on the side, in addition to all the other stuff that I do online with my online business, okay? And ultimately, right, I want to get to the point, again, through content creation that I'm suggesting to you, right, I'd love to get to the point where I don't necessarily have to do this little part-time gig, this little part-time side hustle of refereeing soccer games on the weekends if I don't want to, okay? And I just came back today. It was in the evening. I'm tired. I don't necessarily feel like doing this, and I didn't necessarily feel like creating this video tonight, right? I would much rather would love to have gotten back, taken a hot shower, and go grab something to eat and just relax and all that type of stuff. But then I just thought about the fact that I've been consistently creating content on a daily basis, right? Creating a YouTube video every single day consistently since the 1st of December of 2024, right? So I've been on a streak, right? Trying to build momentum and grow like a little bit of a following, and I'm learning this stuff as I go, and it's I'm enjoying it the more I learn about it, okay? And I gotten to a point where it's like, do I really want to give up like the streak that I have going on right now just because I don't necessarily feel like doing this, right? And bear in mind, if you do decide to get going with creating content, you don't have to do YouTube per se, okay? I would encourage you to do YouTube, right? Because it is, long form content is probably going to be the hardest form of content that you're going to create on video, as opposed to like, say, some of the other platforms that cater more so to short form content, which you can also still do on YouTube, right? And through YouTube Shorts, okay? Other platforms like Instagram and TikTok and Pinterest and what else you have out there? Lemonade, and there are more, right? None coming to mind now. When it comes to written content, you have places like the Instagram Threads and X and all those type places, or creating your own self-hosted blog and blogging, right? People will say blogging is dead and all that type stuff, but hey, that's that's a topic of discussion for another day, but people are still doing it and they're still making money from it. So there's that, okay? And then as far as written content goes as well, there's email, okay? Like communicating through email and all that type of stuff. But the bottom line is, we are in we're actually in fortunate to live in the time that we do right now, with the availability of like internet and social media and all these different outlets and platforms, right? Gone are the days of success being limited to going, having to get by the gatekeepers, so to speak, of all the different industries out there. Now people are just pulling out their phones, right? Whipping out their phones and creating videos, growing followings, and getting people to know, like, and trust them. And you have big brands, big companies, they are realizing that this content creator economy is pretty powerful, right? Instead of spending tons of advertising dollars on TV and all that, they realize that they can come to smaller content creators and pay less money, right? And get a pretty decent return on their advertising investment, okay? It doesn't even have to be small. Like when I say small content creators, I'm just saying content creators that have large followings. So they're not necessarily small per se, right? But in the eyes of these big companies, right, that's actually pretty small. The price that they had, how much they would pay a content creator pales in comparison to how much they would have otherwise paid to have their ads on, on TV. But at the end of the day, these are still eyeballs, right? It's the same eyeballs watching TV that you have consuming content on the internet, okay? Of course, eventually, at some point, as you start creating content, growing a following and all that, you will eventually get to the point where, if you become big enough, you'll have companies reaching out to you, right? Reaching out to you, all in an effort to, to partner with you, because they want to, advertise to your audience. Obviously, if you want to make sure that it's a great fit. But that is that, okay? So even if you did go that route, you would still have to wait on companies to reach out to you. Well, what if I told you, right? What if I told you that is, you don't even have to rely on that, right? Because obviously someone, if you're brand new, you would look at that and then you would probably look at it as an extremely daunting process to, have to, get started building a following, and you're probably thinking, oh, it's going to take years before you get to that and all that. You might as well just go pick up another job, right? Here's the thing. I hear you, okay? But you can make money. You can monetize your content in so many other ways, okay? So many other ways other than relying on getting sponsorships or like paid, like paid user generated content that you would, where instead of waiting for companies to come to you, right? You can start partnering with all kinds of companies right now on your own through, as an example, things like affiliate marketing, right? You go sign up for, a lot of companies, a lot of places now have affiliate programs that are open to just anybody to go ahead and sign up, okay? And you can find companies that are in line, that align with, like with your brand, right? With the kind of stuff that you are about, whatever niche you're in or whatever stuff you decide you want to talk about, right? You can find companies that make sense and make sense to partner with, and promote that way, right? And you can make money from that, right? You can make money from that without necessarily having to wait on anyone, okay? One of the things that I talk a lot about here on this channel is monetizing your content with digital products, right? Selling digital products, whether it's digital products that you've created yourself, okay? Or it's other people's digital products that you're promoting, again, as an affiliate, or whether it's done for you digital products that other people have created that, and they have master resale rights that give you the ability to just basically sell those same products for 100% of the profit, right? Done for you products, right? And then you can do this with physical products too, as well, right? Like basically all kinds of stuff. But obviously I lean more so towards digital products because of the margins, right? There are much bigger margins there. Okay. Now, you're probably wondering, if you're wondering like like you're sold, you want to go about this and how do you get started? Well, like I mentioned, check out the first link in the description below this video. It will show you everything step by step from A to Z, showing you all the, everything that you need to do to start doing this stuff. Okay. And like I said, YouTube is not the only game in town, right? You're probably watching this video and you're probably thinking to yourself that, okay, well, I don't want to be on camera creating these long and maybe boring videos, right? However you see this, I don't know, right? Or you might find this entertaining. I don't know, okay? But like I mentioned, that's not the only route. Of course, if you go this route, that's great, right? Because obviously, with longer content, right, the more time people spend with you, right, the more they get to know you a little bit, right, and get to know, like, and trust you. That's one of the biggest advantages of being on platforms like YouTube, okay, as opposed to like some of the other platforms that cater more so to a smaller short form content. But then again, like I said, pick one. You can do them all, right? You can do this, you can do that as well. If you want to do just the short form content, you can do that too. And then again, you can do this facelessly. You can do YouTube with long form videos without being on camera either, right? There's ways to create faceless content, right, without showing your face on camera or without putting your voice on, on video if you don't want to. There's ways to do all this stuff, right? It's just a matter of you getting out there and taking the time to decide to learn how to do it, right? Like I said, this is not, you're going to have to put in a little bit of work, but it beats the alternative. Because here's the thing about, let's say you do have a low paying job, right? And so think about, let's just say, especially if you're like maybe an older individual, right? Let's just say you're no longer in your teens, 20s, and all that type of stuff, and you start to get to the points where life really starts getting real serious, right? You start getting to your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond, right? and you're looking at your prospects, right? Especially, like I said, if you're a little bit older, and going back to school is not necessarily something that's on the cards, right? It's not on the table for you. That is just not an option for you, right? Because and maybe you're at that point in life where maybe now you've gotten you've gotten married, gotten some kids, gotten a family, right, and all that type of stuff, and you just cannot see yourself having, going back to school, to take on and probably incur more debt, right, to advance your education for a maybe, maybe better job type thing, right? If that's you, right, then what's the next alternative? To maybe go pick up another lower paying job, right? Most of the lower paying jobs are the ones that tend to be more accessible, right? The higher the paying jobs, the higher the pay a job has, the more typically the more I would like to imagine the more competitive it can be. It can become to get those jobs, right? And so while having those, right, are like a good way to get some extra money quickly, I would suggest that you also start creating content and have a long-term view, have that view of knowing that this is something that could possibly pay off big time in the long run, okay? And it's going to require patience, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's going to require patience. It's going to require discipline, right? And it's going to require some degree of consistency. It's also going to require you to be willing to learn, right? Learn new skills, learn, in fact, these are actually, I'll put it this way, they're new skills that may not seem like high income skills at the moment, because you're not getting an instant reward, right? This is not like a typical this is not like a 9 to 5 job where you're salaried or you've got wages, where you know that you can go do X amount of hours of work in return for X amount of dollars in pay, right? This is more of, you've got to have more of an entrepreneurial mindset when it comes to this, right? And you've got to be able to think long term. And believe me, once you get into this, right, once you start looking at you start getting into the entrepreneurial side of things when it comes to generating content and trying to create an income for yourself, where you don't have to depend on somebody else to get a paycheck, right? You will, once you get started with that, you will see a lot of things, right? Your eyes will open to a lot of stuff that you never would have thought possible. Okay. Consider the fact that, again, with a typical job, right? Like, for example, let's say you do have a low paying job right now. Okay. And even if you don't go pick up another one, right, to make more money and all that type of stuff, there's only but so many hours in a day that you can work, right? You can really burn yourself out and still not get paid as much, right? The people that get paid more are the ones typically who've done more schooling, right? Had gotten higher levels of education. And in a fair world, the way it works typically is that, the higher you go up in education, the higher the higher the amount of pay you can command, right? But the beauty of creating content is that there is no barrier, right? No barrier to entry. Anybody, like literally anybody, can get into this. And believe it or not, no matter how boring you may think you are, right? And I'm saying this from experience because, you can go check out my videos. I don't necessarily see, I'm not I don't have like all the flashy stuff and entertaining, all types of stuff, all that stuff and all the effects and all that kind of. Hey, and believe me, that stuff that, especially the effects and editing and all that type of stuff, that is all stuff that I want to learn and I will learn in due time. I know over time, all the stuff that I'm doing is only going to get better as I put in more time, right? I got to find more time to even start learning how to do all that stuff. But believe you me, this thing right here is all you need to get started, okay? Just get going with something, okay? Get going with something. Find your niche, find your topic, whatever it is that you want to talk about, and just start creating content. And you'll see over time, you'll find your way. You'll find your direction. You'll find your niche. You'll find what you want to talk about, whatever the case may be, right? But get something going. And be consistent with it, right? Be consistent. You don't have to do it every single day the way I'm doing it, even though I would encourage it if you can find the time, right? But find some level, find something that you can commit to, whether it's 3 times, if you're doing YouTube, right? Find something that you can commit to, whether it is, once a week, 2 times a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. That's if you're doing YouTube, right? If you're doing all the other, like the other platforms where, it's like shorter form content and all that type stuff, I would highly encourage you, you're going to have to do something every single day, okay? Every single day if you want to, start gaining some traction. But like I said, get started, okay? Get started. It doesn't matter with what, just find something. You can always pivot over time, right? And, get started. You'll find your people. Your people will find you. You'll find your people online. Your people will find you. Okay, but just get going. Like I said, just like I'm doing this as an example, right? like I know that I'm not necessarily the most entertaining person in the world, but hey, I've gotten going. I've started to grow like a little bit, in terms of following, subscribers, and all that. And I've seen enough to know that okay, I just need to give it more time, more effort, more dedication, and things can only get better from here on out. Okay, so like I mentioned, if you want to learn how to actually start monetizing this stuff and get going with it, right, check out the first link in the description below this video. Okay, it'll help you. It'll help show you the ropes, show you how to get going the right way and start making some money to either whatever it is that your goal is, to supplement your current source of income or possibly even replace it. Okay, there's no guarantees, right? This is business. I'm not guaranteeing anything. People's results are going to differ. It's just all, I don't know how hardworking of a person you are, or not so hardworking, but it all depends on you. But there are tons of people who have done this. Like I said, just get in there, and you'll see for yourself, right? You'll see for yourself. You'll be able to join a community of people who are doing the same stuff, who are having tons of success. And, that type of stuff actually may help to encourage you to find out that this stuff might not actually be as difficult as you might have thought it is. Okay. But get something going and see where you are 1 year from now, right? See where you are 1 year from now, and then I think you could be pleasantly surprised at what you could actually accomplish. Okay, literally, when it comes to like income potential, the sky's the limit. When it comes to this type of stuff, there are people doing 3 figures, 4 figures, 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, doing just what I'm telling you about here. So don't sleep on it. It's up to you. My job is just to get the message out there, right? I'll let you know about it. Hopefully you've gotten something from this. But if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, put them in the comment section below. I'll be sure to answer. Get started. Go learn how to get that money. First link in the description below this video. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch, and I will catch you in my next one. Ciao.